least tell me where you're going, so when you don't come back, I'll know how to fill out the report. Hello, Huge Movie Fanatic Nate, coming at you in August 2017, coming at you to review a Blu-ray of a movie that I just reviewed just recently within the last several weeks, the movie of. Now, at the time of my reviewing Just Before Dawn, the motion picture, I knew that years prior a Blu-ray did come out. It was a limited edition Blu-ray, and I didn't necessarily know at the time that it was Code Red who put out the limited edition Blu-ray. And I can't remember if on the video or whatever I put like some text on the screen saying that, probably at the end of the review or something like that. Well, as chance would have it, and this is a very cool kind of chance and a very cool kind of thing that happened. Well, basically, 2 days before I uploaded my review Just Before Dawn, 88 Films released their own Blu-ray of Just Before Dawn, the British-based, if I'm correct in that statement, the British-based distribution company 88 Films would put out their own Blu-ray. Now, I'm not sure if it's the same transfer as the Code Red or whatever, but it doesn't really matter. So basically, when Code Red put out their Blu-ray of Just Before Dawn, they did this thing where it was like just a normal 90-minute, North American theatrical cut, and then they did this 102-minute extended cut, which I was actually really curious about, just being a kind of a fan of this movie and stuff, and I was just like, oh man, well, it's a bummer that I missed out on that Blu-ray at the time. But then, as I've already said, chance would have it that just around the exact same time I was recording my review and uploading my review of Just Before Dawn, 88 Films would release this. This was released on July 24th, 2017, so just weeks ago. And this is my very first 88 Films Blu-ray. This particular release is a region-free Blu-ray, so it's perfect, obviously, for, I guess, anyone in the world to be able to experience this movie on Blu-ray. And I got this off eBay, not long after it came out. After I did my review, I researched this movie a little more online, and I was like, holy crap. There's a new Blu-ray and it's region-free, holy crap. So I instantly got this. So this review is for just the 88 Films Blu-ray release of Just Before Dawn. I don't know if I mentioned this in my review of the movie or not, but this is what I had to experience the movie, the best version I had to experience the movie before I got this 88 Films Blu-ray. This is a Shriek Show, I have a hard time saying that, Shriek Show DVD that came out in 2005, and this is a double disc set, and it's got a second disc with just I think interviews and stuff. I don't think this has the the 102-minute version, otherwise I would have been familiar with it. But I just wanted to bring this up because what's interesting about the new Blu-ray release is this DVD. I'll show you the special features spot on the back of this box. This DVD that came out in 2005 actually has a commentary with director Jeff Lieberman. And disc 2, as you can see, cast and crew interviews, photo gallery, Shriek Show trailers, original movie trailers, and more. And it's kind of a bummer. Usually when they do Blu-ray releases of movies that were previously available on DVD, they'll port the commentaries over. What's unfortunate about this release is it's got audio commentary, but it doesn't have the audio commentary with Jeff Lieberman, the director, which is kind of important. It's got this, as you can see on the back of the box. I'll show a picture of it as I'm talking about it. The special features, the features include audio commentary with author and critic Justin Kurzweil, and anyway, you can read those. I don't know how to pronounce these names. But how kind of not cool is that? I mean, and I don't think I've ever really listened to a commentary from someone who didn't have anything to do with a particular movie. I mean, maybe I would imagine they've got some insightful insights or whatever, but I kind of, just in general, I mean, I guess I can't really speak on the commentary because I haven't heard it, but in general, it's just kind of lame to, if the people who are involved in the movie are alive. In particular, there was a commentary track recorded with the director previously, 10 years ago, why not include that? But the Blu-ray's fantastic. I got it for probably a decent kind of a price. The Blu-ray, the 90-minute version, obviously, I don't think, does it say? yeah, all it says is finally available in the UK, fully remastered in HD. So the 90-minute version obviously is the best looking is the kind of the version that everyone's familiar with, and the one that they restored to look the best quality possible. And I think I mentioned in my review of Just Before Dawn that, I mean, obviously this is a movie that's just basically almost 100%, if not, you might as well just say, pretty much 100% photographed outdoors, in a movie that just begs to be seen in HD, the best, version possible. And I gotta say, the transfer of this movie is absolute, delight on the 90-minute version, and just sharp and crisp, and the colors, and it's just absolutely delightful way to experience this movie. And then obviously, because I'd never seen the 102-minute, what do they call it? Extended cut, it's the optional overseas version, 102 minutes, so that's 12 more minutes of footage than anything that I've seen before in the 90-minute North American version. Obviously I wanted to watch that, and I think I read online in forums or something like that the print that they got, so I was prepared, but the print that they got for the the extended, what they're calling the optional or the overseas version, the 102-minute version, is really great, because it's really crappy kind of a just a film print that looks like it's been just dragged across the floor, and so it gives you that really cool kind of grindhouse experience. And I actually really kind of like that. I mean, back when I did my review not so long ago for Rituals, I think I commented on the Code Red DVD, well, the only way it's available on DVD, Rituals. And the print that they got for that particular DVD was a archival print that Lawrence Dane owned, and that was a really cool kind of print that had seen better days, so it was kind of gave you that grindhouse experience. I really love, the kind of, a lot of people might not agree, people that are just like digital cinema connoisseurs and stuff, people that don't like artifacts on their movies and stuff like that, but I just think it's to have the 102-minute version of this movie, kind of included as an extra or an additional, version to watch of this movie on this disc is a real delight. And not only that, to add it to even, to make it even better, it's just the print is, like I say, really crummy. So it really gives you that kind of just like midnight showing, feature or feel to it. And a lot of, I gotta tell you, watching this and being able to watch a pristine version on this, and then watching the 102-minute version with kind of more just grindhouse experience, it really made me think that whenever a company like this, or Arrow Films or Shout Factory, Scream Factory, whatever, does a Blu-ray like this, it'd be really cool for them to include, just for people like me who actually like to see crappy prints of these kind of genre movies. It just adds this kind of whole nother layer of just whatever, I don't know if you want to just say nostalgia, or just add something to a movie like this, to be able to see it in this kind of just disrepaired print version. It'd be cool if a lot more, even if there's no extra footage, just show like a crappy print, have a crappy print or grindhouse print option or something like that. Or that word grindhouse is kind of used a little too much in my opinion, so maybe they could call it like the midnight showing version, where they actually do just get like a crappy print as well, and do a scan of that, maybe not as high resolution, because it probably costs them more money to do a higher resolution, but do a scan of that as well, and then offer be really cool if outfits started doing that, where they could offer a midnight screening, quote-unquote midnight screening version, where it was all kind of crappy and stuff. One thing that I can say about the 102 version on this is, from what I can tell, I mean, the print's in really kind of bad shape, particularly at the beginning and end of reels and stuff, but from what I can tell, luckily, there's not any film missing. A lot of times when a film, when a print's in really bad shape, there's missing film at the beginning or end of reels, or just any random spot or whatever. But from what I can tell, in the 102 version, there's no missing film, so that's obviously a bonus. And I gotta really tell you, I would regard, a lot of times when I see a version, the original version, and then I'll see an extended version, it's like, yeah, I can see why that stuff was cut out. But in this case, for the majority of the extra 12 minutes, I'd say maybe 10 of the 12 minutes, the majority of it, I really think makes the movie better. And to be honest, you know, when I pick this up to watch, it's going to be kind of hard to decide between which version. Oh, before I end my kind of little review of the 102 version, there's been some talk and stuff on forums and stuff of whether the 102 minute version is HD. I'm going to just go out on a limb and say it's probably not. You know, but because I went close to the TV to kind of more scrutinize and stuff. But when you're sitting back, you know, far away from the TV, kind of where you should be sitting, I mean, you can't really tell. You know, I mean, it looks fine. It doesn't look like, you know, really, you know, look like a DVD or crappy pixelated or whatever. So, I mean, it's kind of one of those situations where it's kind of hard to tell whether it's HD or not. So that should give you an indication of how good it does look. Obviously, if you can't decide whether it's an HD version or not, this looks probably pretty good. I don't know where the hell I was getting at. Oh yeah, what I was getting at before was the commenting on the actual kind of quality of the extra footage that is featured in the 102 minute version. The majority of it, I think, is absolutely fantastic and completely adds to the overall experience. And it's a lot of character stuff. Most of it's a lot of, you know, character stuff that they cut out. Like, remember that one scene where the chick goes topless and is swimming with her boyfriend who can't swim, Jack Lemmon's son, Chris Lemmon. That's something I forgot to talk about in the review. Well, like, I think it was that night or the next morning or something like that. Maybe it was that night at the campfire. She's kind of still mad at him for not believing her about that, you know, a hand came up and touched her, which was obviously the killer guy. So there was some extra character stuff with that kind of, you know, because the next morning, remember when he's like, oh, the bitch will be on the rag the rest of the trip, you know. So that night there's some extra character bits between them, which, you know, shows her being kind of upset with him. Still upset at, you know, later on that night, which is, you know, kind of plays into the next day, and, you know, maybe a little more reason why he's like, okay, I'll go look for your makeup. So, and I think the stuff that they cut out was actually really important, and there was even a whole entire scene that takes place right before they before they come across, or I guess I should say, Chris Lemmon's, is that his name, right? Yeah, Chris Lemmon's body comes, you know, floating down the stream or whatever into these two characters, the main two characters that will survive throughout the movie. There's a scene, kind of a character scene with them too, that happens before that, which I can't remember exactly what it deals with, but it's a scene that I think, oh yeah, it's a scene where the girl is like, realizes that the guy was lying about, you know, seeing the deer run away towards the beginning of the movie when they're driving to the campsite. So I just do my little kind of review of the extra footage in the 102 minute version. I think the majority of it is really, really good, you know, enhances the movie, and, you know, as an overall movie experience, not including the, you know, the quality between the two prints, I would, you know, I would probably more recommend watching the 102 minute version. I think it's a much fuller of an experience than the 90 minute version, unfortunately. Well, I guess it's fortunate. It's kind of a bummer that, you know, that version is the one that looks not as good or whatever. But so that's what I mainly wanted to say about this release, is just my comments on how impressed I was with the extra footage. And usually when there's, you know, extra 12 minutes of footage like that, and a lot of times for me, I can just take it or leave it. But in this case, I thought it was really, you know, majority of it was some really, really kind of cool character study of some extra just bits into the inside of these characters. And the majority of the stuff is kind of just hacked away from, in case you're wondering, like, where the 12 minutes went. It's a lot of it is just like, just bits and pieces hacked off of scenes. There'll just be like an extra, you know, bit of dialogue here and there, and then it'll come back to the, you know, the 90-minute version, stuff like that. But like I say, in some cases, I think there's like at least one scene that's completely gone, where that girl is talking to the guy right before, you know, Chris Lemmon floats on by and stuff like that. So as always, I'll put, you've already seen it, but I'll just put another shot of the back of the box here. Features include, obviously, high definition transfer from the, oh, here we go, internegative, uncompressed, you know, LPCM 24-bit audio, optional English subtitles, audio commentary, the fantastic extended cut, and what I call the fantastic kind of midnight screening version. There's a featurette called Jeff Before Dawn, which is an exclusive new interview with the director. Now there's this thing called Grindhouse All-Stars, insightful new documentary in which the director and this other guy who was a part of, I don't know if he was a director of Street Trash or something, or in this, the guy who directed Don't Go in the House, they share memories of the slime and grime of the Grindhouse glory days. And I'll put on the screen how long that particular interview is. I mean, obviously, since it really doesn't have anything to do with this particular movie, except for, I don't know, I think Jeff Lieberman talks a little bit about this movie, maybe when he's talking about that. I didn't find that kind of video particularly entertaining. I guess maybe watching the guy who did Don't Go in the House, because I'm kind of a fan of that movie, was kind of interesting. 2 theatrical trailers, gallery of on-location stills from the director's personal archive, Just Before Dawn and Grindhouse, Chick collector's booklet by whatever reversely. Oh yeah, this is something that should be noted. Is this is I did some research, and this apparently is a French poster. I don't know. I guess I'm not too blown away with this poster. I mean, it's okay, but I prefer, which is luckily included in this release, because I prefer the original kind of North America poster art. So obviously with this release you have the option for this particular artwork or this artwork, which is, if I'm correct, is kind of basically the main North American poster artwork, which is kind of cool. Unfortunately, with the red case, maybe this doesn't look so good with the yellow in the red case, but this is kind of the artwork that, I guess looking at this, it's not that great. Maybe the other, I'll probably leave the other one sticking out, because this doesn't really go very good in my opinion with the red case. But I guess I probably went on a little longer than I intended for this particular Blu-ray review, but it was kind of, I kind of wanted to, tell you, pardon me, what I thought about, obviously, since I went on and on and on about it. Mainly I wanted to tell you my thoughts on the 102 version, versus the 90-minute version. And so you basically got a 90-minute, very, very pristine print version taken off the internegative, and then you got more of a, I guess what I'll start calling a midnight showing, more archival, extended 102-minute version also featured on the disc. So that's kind of the coolest things about this particular release. And I did some, going back and forth between certain scenes and the different versions to kind of compare image and stuff like that. Oh, in closing, before I end the review, I guess when they released this disc, they did a very limited run on this kind of this, which I don't care about stuff like this. A lot of people do, and I guess more power to them, but I don't. I guess when they released this, there was a limited run of I don't know how many, but this like slipcase or slipcover, cardboard thing that was some kind of newly commissioned artwork of, these characters going over that rope bridge or whatever, and it's kind of cool art or whatever. But I mean, I guess to me it doesn't really, I don't really care so much about it, because it's like newly commissioned artwork. Like if it had been like kind of more obscure original artwork from back in the day, early 80s when this was made, it'd be like, ooh. But I mean, who really cares about kind of like an extra, limited slipcase cover of like new artwork, which doesn't even really resemble the characters that well, in my particular opinion. There's a snippet of it on the booklet here, but here's the disc in the booklet, and I kind of like this art. I don't know if they threw this together, but this is kind of cool art right here on the thing, and I like this too, which I don't know if is original or something that 88 Films threw together. But here's some of the artwork from that slipcase. Guy going across the rope bridge, and it's just like, I don't know. I mean, the likenesses aren't even. But I don't really, not a huge reader, so I never read any of this stuff. But just give you an idea of the pages of the booklet. And here's the 2 posters. You can see the French one and the North American one. So there you go, my overly extended review of the recently released Just Before Dawn Blu-ray by 88 Films. Very exciting to actually finally have this on HD because, as I said, it's a movie that just cries out to be able to, or to be watched in the best resolution possible. And of course, now Blu-ray, or just normal Blu-ray, is not the best resolution possible because you got 4K, frickin' A. Don't get me started on 4K, but I already did a video on that years ago. But thank you very much for watching this video, and as always, we'll catch you on the next one.